All right, all right. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the Stratless Townhall. Oh, it's been so long since the last Townhall. This is awesome. Uh, I'm really happy to be able to host another Townhall. I'm here with super special guests. Big shout out to DJ Darwin as always. He does a great job. I'm here with. I can call you co-host now, Michael. I'm here with my co-host, Michael. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Santi. How are you, man?
Really good, man. Really good as well. Again, really happy to be here to have the chance to host another Stradless Stonehall. We were remembering yesterday with Pablo the times when we had 10, 15 people in the town halls only, and now we have always a lot of people supporting us. So just it's awesome. It's
He
awesome.
he was going back through history. He shared a tweet of the Jacob, Danny, Pablo, myself in our astronaut suits back from like April of last year. He retweeted it. I thought he was reminiscing. I could feel him
Yeah,
reliving the history of Star Atlas.
yeah, nostalgic a little bit.
Yeah,
The early days that was crazy, but
yeah.
yeah, man, it's
A,
awesome to remember that as well.
a lot more great times ahead of us, though, as well.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that, man. No doubt about that. So one cool thing, we have a very action-packed agenda today. I have some really cool guests as you can see here on the stage. I have Danny and Chip, plus Swagner as always. And I will tell you guys the agenda real quick. We will cover some community updates first. Then we will cover some global updates, I would say, global Stratless updates with Michael, the different in the different projects that we have going on. Then we have like a mini interview with Danny, I would say. We can call it that way. Then updates with Chip, and then we will try to have time for the Q&A. We also have the right after we finish here, we all move to Twitter to the after party. Just to be clear, there's going to be a Twitter after party. So let's go as always straight to business. We will use the town hall chat if you want to chat like related to the conversation now while we speak. You can use the town hall chat. It's one channel above this one. You will see Atlas Amphitheater, the Atlas Brew, and town hall chat. You can use town hall chat, and we may be dropping some images in there as well. So yeah, pay attention, pay attention. And yeah, let's get right into business, Wagner. What do you think, man?
Let's do it, Santi. But once we do have a star-studded panel with us, Danny, Chip, appreciate you guys joining today. I know how hard you've been working behind the scenes. It's been a while since everybody heard from you, so fantastic to have you back up on stage. Chipto here, he's got a little new internal nickname. I don't know when he's going to update his handle, but
Yeah.
he's been come to be known as Shipto across the Automata team.
I'm gonna update it right now. I'm on it, boss.
Yeah, man.
Love it,
You,
man.
you need to do it. So yeah, Danny as well. Danny, how are you, man?
Hey, good, Santi. Glad
Are
to
you
be back.
ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So yeah, let's go straight into business. We have some little community updates to share first. We created the community developers channel. It's here below. If you see Atlas Amphitheater, voice chat, content creators, and community developers. So we'll be posting things. You can find in the pinned messages some articles and knowledge that you can look at from if you're a coder, if you're a developer, you'll find it useful. And we will try to keep the development community development conversation in there. So that's a new channel we created. Another big update that we had in the Discord is that we have specific categories now for each channel, that each one has an announcements channel and text and voice channels as well, depending on each language and depending on demand. We are doing this again purely on demand. If you don't see your language anymore, don't worry. We will get there as the demand grows, as we find people who want to help, community members who want to help to manage the channels. So if you want to check this out, it's if you scroll to the bottom of the server, you will find a channel called Pick Your Language. And if you go to pick your language, well, basically you click the flag of that represents the language that you speak. and you will get access to the channels. You will find it. You will find announcements. Big shout out, huge shout out to the people who are helping us to translate the announcements. It's really next level, and it helps a lot the people who don't speak English. So big shout out to them. Also, another thing is that as far I'm aware, maybe there's more people, but in the Spanish-speaking community, we have Chimera. In the voice channel here in the Spanish-speaking community, we have the guys literally translating the Townhall live to Spanish. So that is awesome. I wanted to mention that because it's incredible. Like all the community initiatives like that, it really takes it to the next level. So huge shout out to them. We want to be very clear that we really appreciate that. It's literally awesome. Another thing is that I dressed up my little prayer dog. If you tag me here in the server, if you go to Townhall chat and you tag me, you will find it that my prayer dog is dressed up for the Townhall, and I will have that gift just for special occasions. So if you go and tag me on Townhall chat, you will see that I'm all dapper, right, Signer?
You are beautiful, Santi, as always, man. But I love the new apparel.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Big shout out to Sprite Bomb Pixel, our meme lord. He creates these memes like almost instantly. So huge shout out to Bomb Pixel. Also, another thing before we move to general updates is that you guys need to remember that we have the partnership with Iba Power, and you need to go to the Iba Power site if you want to buy the PC or the case. You need to register, confirm your pre-order, and register as interested. And that is very important that you do that. So I'm dropping here the link in the Townhall chat. If you want to go take a look, it's really cool, and the computer is next level. You will be able to run the showroom easy with that. So just to be clear, go there, Townhall chat, and you will find it. You will find the link. I just posted it, and make sure to register your interest. You need to only scroll down on that page. So, Michael, if you can cover me, I will take a sip of coffee right now. I don't know how you do it. I just speak for like 20 minutes, 20 minutes at least without a sip of water. But yeah, man.
Practice, man. Just lots of practice. But get yourself rehydrated. Although I don't think coffee rehydrates you, but get yourself energized. Jump in here. I'll just be providing some general updates. Obviously, we do have, as we said, Danny and Chip here on stage with us. I'm sure there's a lot of updates from both of them that you're all interested in hearing. So let me just kind of speak to the broader ecosystem. As usual, well, not as usual, but what I do want to do is maybe just start with kind of get the bad news out of the way, and not related to Star Atlas, but I think everybody is pretty familiar with the hack that happened on Solana. I don't like calling it a Solana hack. It wasn't a Solana hack. It was actually appears to be associated with this Slope wallet, probably users on mobile with seed phrase getting leaked. It did impact a significant portion of the Solana ecosystem. It also bled over to the Ethereum ecosystem. This is incredibly unfortunate, and it was very irresponsible seed management by Slope, if in fact they were responsible for this, which seems to be the case. But hopefully that didn't impact any of you in the audience. I can tell you as a company, it did not impact us. We do follow best practices with all of our internal security measures around wallet management. So no impact to us, but hopefully no one else out there was negatively impacted by this. I will say, very quickly, we did do just an on-chain analysis, and it appears to be relatively small number of users that were impacted overall with Star Atlas assets, no NFTs, and only about $25,000 or so worth of total Star assets across, I think, a couple hundred wallets. Now, that's meaningful to a lot of people. It's meaningful to me. So, again, if you were impacted, I'm sorry for you for this. these things shouldn't happen, and we just have to get better at it as an industry. But nevertheless, strong position here at Star Atlas as always. And this wasn't actually on our agenda, but I'm just thinking about this now because it's come up a number of times. We do have this cosmetic badge system that's currently associated with Faction Fleet or Project Score. Now, the original idea there was to provide a sense of progression for users that were participating in Faction Fleet. They were not intended to come with any long-term benefits or no economic value, to be honest with you, but there have been some requests for that. We do intend to accommodate that. We're still working through what that actual structure looks like, and it will be, those benefits that are received will be associated with Scream when that rolls out. We don't have an opportunity or the time right now to prioritize all of the detail on that, and I know that some users have been avoiding making a switch from a hot wallet or a web-based wallet into a cold storage wallet or a hardware wallet like Ledger. I don't want to tell you what to do. It's entirely up to you as to whether or not you want to retain the badge and the benefits there or make the move. Ultimately, though, my opinion is that the best thing you can do is to get your assets into a safe cold storage wallet and interact with our ecosystem that way. Final comment on this is that the rewards are not going to be all that substantial. This is a little minor perk that we're providing in providing players with not only the cosmetic item, but some little kickstart to Scream when it comes out. But it's not something that is going to put you at a disadvantage if you don't do that. So just consider the alternatives there. And again, we don't, in light of this situation with Slope and the hack that just happened this week, I do hope you'll put some thought into ensuring that your assets are safe. So with that said,
Water.
sip of water. Yeah. So with all of that said, Santi, it's been a little while since we've done a town hall. I think it was when I was in New York was the last time we did that, but
Yeah.
obviously we've been busy in the meantime, and there's been an event in between. We're coming off of the 426 live event. That was on the 21st of July, so just 2 weeks ago. And you all saw the launch of the marketplace. You saw the launch of StarPath program. You saw the DAO platform launch, and there will be many features integrated into the DAO over time. You also much anticipated polis locking and polis emissions, so rewards. And I'm going to get a little bit more in depth into what the actual analytics and metrics show us on participation in that DAO in a bit here. And of course the relationship with iBuyPower. It was really great event. I think overall community sentiment is strong, and we want to carry that momentum going into the end of the year. So we are in the process of planning for the next one, and we'll be sure to let you all know when to expect that coming in the future. So with respect to all of the products that we have launched, part of this process is consuming the feedback that you all provide to us. So we've been doing that as we continue to build. We're taking in your feedback. We're creating tickets. Our engineers are working on improvements across every one of those applications. And in fact, we've already made quite a few improvements, which may or may not have been noticeable, but we are consistently rolling out updates and patches and fixes to things as we have the capacity to do so. It's just very important for us to not only maintain existing software, improve existing software, but also allocate that time on building what is still to come. So again, overall positive sentiment from all of these launches. From my perspective, interacting with the marketplace, it is incredibly fast, incredibly responsive. I feel that it's a dramatically improved user experience. I've purchased things off of the marketplace myself, and so really happy with that. With that said, I do know that there's an ongoing issue right now with the purchase of ammunition, one of the 4 resources. We are very aware.
We fix it.
Oh, it's
Yes,
fixed.
sir.
Okay, awesome.
Yes,
I've
sir.
been on calls all day, so great. Thank you, Santi. Okay, we've got a fix rolled out. That's great. Yeah, and then several improvements to the DAO metrics or DAO presentation of information rather as well. So with that, I want to roll into StarPath. So StarPath is our affiliate program. This is the referral system that's built for Web3. The mechanism in place is to reward our existing community who are referring new members to the Star Atlas ecosystem, community, and gaming product. And what I want to cover here now, I know Santi said we might have some images to drop. I do want to regain my position as the master of alpha, the master leaker. So I'm just going to say right here, we'll have several images actually that will be dropping over the course of my conversation, and I think maybe Danny and Chip might have some things to share as well. So Santi, can we share the StarPath update just so everybody
Yes,
can see
sir.
what the
You got it.
participation looks like?
You
I'll
got
just
it.
summarize very quickly here. You guys can look through the material, but we have seen 367 signups since inception, and what we've also provided for, and actually this is a little bit dated now. I think this is a few days old, but what you'll also see on there is the distribution across the different factions. And so 134 referrers have signed up from Mud, 142 from Oni, 89 from Ooster. Ooster is trailing. You guys, as the sentient androids, I would think would be automating this whole thing, but Ooster's coming up in the rear there. And just with respect to the referral link usage, 172 visits to the play site through those referral links presently, 527 total just since the product launch, and we do have about a 25% conversion rate with respect to wallet connection. So a user that uses your link or a new member that uses your link connects their wallet and at least explores the marketplace for the purchase of an asset. So we also hear your feedback on that. I understand that there's been some discussion around the incentive model. We do want to make some consistent improvements. For us, it was important to get the first phase of this out, introduce it to the community, do some testing with it, get some feedback, which you all are doing, and make some improvements to that product over time, and make sure that this is a fair model for everyone. So some of the things that we're considering are increasing or improving the referral rates for purchases. If you've referred someone, you can earn more prosperity marks, which can be redeemed for ships or any of the NFT assets that we ultimately go on to sell. We are thinking about adding some buyer perks to this. So the purchaser, the person that you've referred when they purchase, looking at methods of integrating a perk or an incentive or a discount for them as well. And then I think a big thing here that Anthony brought up, Anthony Mason is our head of marketing intelligence. He was leading the team that developed this product along with Chloe and Ruslan and several other members of the BI team. We're looking at introducing promotional periods with this as well. So there will be certain kind of windows where the rates overall will be increased and everyone will have higher opportunity for that path to prosperity. Those are just a few of the immediate ideas, but again, we want to go slow and steady with this and just see what adoption looks like and usage looks like, and hopefully you're all kind of taking advantage of this opportunity to at least capture some value in the near term as we improve in the future. So moving along, the Star Atlas DAO, as you all know, that was launched. This is the universal DAO, but it's really the fundamental platform that we're going to be building additional features on top of. That first feature and really a separate product. I do want to emphasize that these are really two separate products, the polis locking and the platform. This entire framework to date consists of 6 on-chain programs that we had to write. It's quite a complex system that will be available for many things, including polis locking, atlas locking, governance structures around proposals and voting, and of course the curve model behind all of this as well. So we did activate polis emissions, and we've seen some really, really incredible participation rates on the DAO already. So let me also, Santi, do we have the...
We do the image?
Yeah, let's make sure this is the DAO locker stats. Let's drop that
The
image.
duration distribution, right?
That's the one. That's the one.
Perfect. Okay, I
Yeah.
just want to be clear, I'm dropping this in the Townhall chat. right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, just posted it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, some of the things that we've improved on there, and we will be getting more data points for everyone who has that, analytical intention and wants to really understand what's going on across the ecosystem. But we show things like circulating supply, the total lock supply, the Polis voting power, distribution amounts, distribution dates, timing, and then also information that's specific to your wallet, how much you've locked, what your voting weight is, what you've collected over time, and what your next anticipated reward will be. I guess I would also point out here, uh, to the extent that we communicated that we would be locking our entire balance, that was a very necessary step for us because we build a model around emission rates and capture by the community and essentially dilution of automata over time. And I hate to frame it in the light of kind of a worst case scenario, but think of it in terms of what would have been the fastest path for automata to have conceded our position as the majority stake in the short term, and so we modeled everything from the perspective of being diluted below majority stake in the short term, and so therefore our communications were what our maximum position would be, which would be that entire unlocked team balance. Now, once we started collecting data, and fortunately we were able to do that because we did roll out the platform and Polis locking before any rewards started. Now, that was really with the intention of giving everybody an opportunity to know that it was present, and understand how to interact with that program and get themselves set up. But nevertheless, we were able to use that data to make a game time executive decision. And ultimately, we made the decision that we just want to maintain a specific proportion of that in the short term. So it meant that we only locked initially 8.5 million Polis instead of 108 million Polis. So that was to the direct benefit of the community, and really just staying true to our intention of just ensuring that we have sufficient time to develop out the vision of Star Atlas without losing or giving up too much control to the DAO in the short term. So
Yeah, I have a quick question for you, Michael, if you want to answer it. Okay.
sure.
I want to make clear. I want to be sure that we cover this. But why isn't the Stratos DAO a gamified suggestion box? Like, we heard those comments, and I just want to make sure that we cover this, because the Stratos DAO, like as it is right now, isn't a gamified suggestion box. Can you expand on this?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just respond to that quickly to say that this is significantly more control than just having suggestions. Obviously in the short term, again, there's limited functionality, but everybody needs to have a longer term perspective here of what exactly is possible. Stakeholders and participants of the DAO will have ultimate control over the future of Star Atlas. That's the roadmap that we've laid out. That's the vision that we have, and that's the ethos that we intend to stay true to. So it's not all going to happen overnight, but what I do want to do is quickly get into the locker duration distribution numbers to demonstrate that and highlight that conviction that has been demonstrated by our community. So it's far more than a suggestion box. Whatever gets voted on and introduced as a result of proposals and stakeholder voting on the DAO is going to become the future of Star Atlas. It's way more than a suggestion. It's way more powerful than that. And so you have rights to manage and take possession of this ecosystem. You also have treasury operations and treasury management rights, where you can determine how to utilize that income that is already flowing into the DAO and best use that to the benefit of all other participants going into the future. And of course, we have those Polis emissions on there as well as a short-term incentive. So I hope that answers the question, Santi, but
Yes,
it's
sir. All
significantly
covered.
more. Yeah. And the last thing that I didn't even get into are all of the in-game mechanics that are going to be associated with in-game governance through regional and faction DAOs as well. So let's see. I want to go quick here. I feel like I'm running
Yeah.
long, and I
Yeah.
really want to get Danny and Chip up here. So, Did we already drop the locker duration distribution? Sorry.
Yes, sir. We
we
dropped
did.
that. Yeah.
Okay. The one thing to point out that I do want to mention, we eliminated the team's wallet address from this intentionally. These are community-specific data points. The community that has now contributed to the DAO, 47.79% of you have locked at 5 years, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the conviction that you have in us in building this out. So I won't go too far beyond that, but it's something like like 13 million out of 50 million, I want to say, in community liquid circulating supply. 13 million of those have been locked in the DAO, and nearly 50% in the 5 year, which is incredible. So I'm going to skip through some of this other stuff just in the spirit of time. The last thing that I want to drop that is really alpha oriented is I'm going to speak a little bit to Atlas locking, which is an upcoming feature. It is a feature that will live in the DAO locker space, so in the DAO UI, but has direct benefits on the marketplace. And I've alluded to this in the past. I think it's time now that we share some information about that. Santi, let's just drop that last image. It is
You got it.
the Atlas Locker mockup. And so effectively, this is how this system is going to work. When we get Atlas locking introduced to the DAO, we are going to introduce a fee on the marketplace itself of 6%. This will only be on secondary transactions, so no primary transactions. Anything coming from Automata that you're purchasing at origination will not have a fee associated with it. Only peer-to-peer transactions, and this will obviously be impactful to those DACs that are looking to participate in manufacturing and ship crafting. You could think of this as part of your operating costs. However, what we are doing at inception on day one is sharing 33% of that fee with the DAO itself. So the DAO will be collecting, if it's the top line 6%, the DAO will get 2, Automata gets 4. Now, in addition to that, you have the opportunity through locking of Atlas to discount the total fee structure by as much as 85%. Probably very relevant for anybody who's involved in crafting, as well as anybody who's, very active in trading on the marketplace itself. But in addition to the fee discounts, there is a portion of Polis that was carved out of the Polis emission curve or pool that is allocated directly to those people that are participating in Atlas locking. It was 7.5% of that total 40% originally. So those are going to go to individuals that are locking Atlas. This is going to function very similar to the way that the Polis emissions work. It is your share of the total Atlas locked multiplied by the daily distribution of Polis going out for that reward structure. Now, the one thing that's really different here about the Atlas locker is that there is no minimum locking duration. It's kind of a perpetual lock. However, you can request a withdrawal of your Atlas at any time, and you wait for a 3-week cooldown period. So your tokens will be locked for 3 weeks, but that is at the time that you request a withdrawal. Now, my assumption is that those that are using this are mostly going to be using it for perpetual operations on the marketplace, and so I don't think we'll see a significant amount of inflow and outflow of the Atlas lockers. Last point, Atlas lockers will immediately start providing you with the discounts on the marketplace as soon as you deposit, as well as get you eligible for Polis rewards. When you elect to withdraw from the locker, all of those benefits cease immediately, and you do still wait the 3 weeks. So they stop on day one. You still have to wait the 3 weeks. So I'm going to stop there. If you take a look at the mock-up that was shared, you'll see the amounts that are required, or rather the tier discount schedule. It's at the bottom of that mock-up. And most of this data on here, I will say, is just placeholder data, so ignore all of that. But if you look at the Atlas discount benefits table, those are the official numbers for the Atlas Locker program and how you receive discounts on the marketplace. So I will take a sip of water, turn it over to you, Santi, and hopefully we have plenty of time for Danny and Chip here.
Yeah, man. So 33% to the DAO. I just want to emphasize on that, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So
I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought it up. I mean, look, this is only one additional revenue stream. We know the DAO's already collecting revenue off of Score. It will be collecting revenue off of Scream. It's going to be collecting revenue off of IP in the future. It's going to be collecting revenue off of the marketplace. Like, this becomes a very powerful vehicle to accomplish big things in a decentralized fashion. And that's the vision.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, man. So I'll cover real quick the HR hires that we had. We hired in the last 2 weeks. This is only the last 2 weeks. We hired Metaverse Economic Analyst, Director of Game Economy, Unreal Engine Graphics Engineer, Senior Product Designer, Blockchain Engineer, BI Analyst, Senior Game Systems Designer, Customer Service Agent Community. This is Darwin. Big shout out to Darwin. And Community Manager. This is Dominic. He's joining us full time as well. So those are the hires. Big shout out to our great HR team, Stephen, Kelsey, Sarah, everyone. Great job as always. So big shout out to everyone. And I think we can now jump to our little interview that we have planned here with Danny. Danny, man, are you here? How are you, sir?
Hey, Santi. Yeah, I'm here. Doing good.
Awesome. We're trying to move fast here, man, to reach to your interview because we have some cool things prepared. Uh, I say we go straight to business, man. I think everybody knows you, but if you can give like a super short introduction of who are you and what you do as Star Atlas, would be awesome. So everybody knows, in case anybody doesn't know.
Yeah, sure. And my name's Danny Floyd. I'm Chief Product Officer, Star Atlas. I also kind of wear multiple hats. I'm studio art director, game director, and take a big part of the lore writing and story.
Awesome. That was quick, man. I love it. So let's go straight to business, man. Yeah, let's go straight to business. I have a few questions. So we'll speak a little bit about the showroom first. I think it's important to cover like why is developing the showroom actually important for Star Atlas? Like why do we do the showroom?
Yeah, so it's there's two major reasons. It's one, to align all the teams, so we have multiple teams like co-dev and internal with the Automata, and two, to build all the foundational tech in Unreal that we're going to be using for the rest of the future of Star Atlas, all the core pipelines that need to be established. And if I can go back a little bit, I worked as art director on this game called Splitgate. Back when I joined, and actually throughout most of the production, they had only 4 devs, funny enough. But I was the first artist that they hired. I was an art director part-time for them. And the game was in an awful state with really no art at all. And so it was my job to create all the content pipelines. Working as an art director and a technical artist, I was also the full HR team for all the artists that were eventually hired on. Every single content pipeline, from like characters, environment, weapons, VFX, sound, even like technical art things with like blueprinting, scoreboards and stuff like that, all the UI, UX, that whole pipeline. We went through 3 different major releases on that game. A couple on PC at first, one that was like just getting it out, MVP. The next one was like, here's a newer polished version with a bigger team. I scaled that art team up to 25 artists and technical artists. All these content pipelines that were in place were now basically automated. So that's what we're building in Showroom. Eventually, we released on console on Splitgate. The game blew up. It I don't know if anyone knows about it, but it was like one of the only shooter games on PlayStation. And then like it hit 800,000 people in the Discord, which is like a hard cap. Eventually, the valuation went to unicorn valuation. It was like $1.5 billion valuation. Got $100 million in funding to expand the game even further. I transition. I hired another art director who was like one of the best in the field. And anybody knows Alex Senichel, he's a great guy to work with. And then kind of handed over the project. There was really not much for me to do once I got those content pipelines in place. Once you have those content pipelines realized and documented, and it's just a matter of scaling up and putting in people into their place. So that's what
you basically built the content pipelines on Splitgate, literally from scratch. You were the first person hired.
Absolutely. Yeah, every content that was done in Unreal Engine 4, a lot of that translates over to Unreal Engine 5. So it's one of the reasons we chose Unreal Engine 5 is because of my experience with 4. And that's what we're doing with Showroom. So Showroom is the same sort of phase where we use, hang on, I gotta hide these notifications, where we use these, we build all these content pipelines and we align all the teams with Automata and Sparasoft. Specifically was initially what we were trying to align. We've never worked with Sparasoft. We see that they have good background, but we have our own internal team of department directors, which contains principal level, lead level, and director level of all the different departments. And then they work with people on Sparasoft, which is more the senior and junior level of all the departmental heads or seats. And then the entire purpose of Showroom, really, the first purpose of Showroom is to align both teams to make sure everyone in Sparasoft is listening to everything that Automata is telling them to do, and that they get them through all these content pipelines. So we have again, similar things with like characters, environment, VFX, ships, UI, even release pipelines are something that we need to work out. And so Showroom becomes this whole thing from going from concept to documentation to production to QA to release. And that's why we have beautiful UI as well.
Yeah, true. So I like the example that you once gave. I think you said like the Showroom is like start crawling in the Star Atlas development, something like that.
Yeah, at first development is like a crawl, and you build very slowly. You reinforce the good things that happen, and you scratch off things that don't work. So Showroom is the place where we crawl, and then the next project is where we walk, and then the following project is where we run. So crawl, walk, run is a very common theme. And once you start running, that's when things just kind of take off.
Yeah. So Showroom can be kind of compared to the Hangar module on Star Citizen, right? It can be compared a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to ask a follow-up question regarding that, because most of the people compare Star Atlas a lot with Star Citizen. So I think you're the best person to ask, how is Star Atlas different from Star Citizen?
Sure, yeah. So there's a lot of similarities between Star Citizen and Star Atlas because they're a crowd-funded game. Anybody that follows their development, they've got kind of a similar vision for their game. There's definitely a lot of similarities, but there's some very notable differences I'll get into. A lot of smart people on that project. People try to deride them by saying, "Oh, they've been building for 10 or like a dozen years." But I mean, the fact that a studio can not release an entirely fully playable game in 10 years, but still be building and still be expanding is an accomplishment in itself. But their first thing was to build a hangar module. When they went live on Kickstarter, they had some nice demos. You could see some flight. You can see like the retro thrusters kind of like firing. It was really cool. You see a character walking into a ship and getting in. It's like this immersive thing. So right after the Kickstarter, why didn't they just release what they had? It's because it was mostly just kind of to show off. But there's a lot of things there, but it's not a releasable product. So their first product was a hangar module. So it took them 11 months to take what they had from that Kickstarter demo and then turn it into a fully releasable product where players can play and get the clients downloaded and get the updates and have it ready for when new ships come out and that kind of thing. And so players can play the ships that they bought as part of like the crowdfunding service. Where we're different, well, one, we went from not having any of that, not having a fully fleshed out team, so literally starting to build a team from nothing, to a product that's releasable within 8 months. We're lucky that we have like Epic Games. We have UE5. There's a lot of things that Star Citizen has had to build onto CryEngine and Lumberyard that we're lucky that we're starting like a couple years ago that is built in Unreal Engine 5. One of the big things that I like to say is different is like it's a little backwards, because right now Star Citizen, they call themselves pre-alpha. They use a currency called AUEC. That A means alpha, and they wipe it frequently. Usually like every couple quarters or whatever, they would wipe it. There was just a recent really big wipe. And that is the only reason people say it's not a game. If they kept the currency going and they said, this is the currency forever, that's actual progression. And because they don't have that, it's not real progression. So people say it's just a tech demo. If you had that game it's really, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of content. There's so much you can do. It's a really beautiful game. But we're doing the opposite, is where we launch the currency right away. We launch the marketplace. If you're advancing yourself with the currency and score, you're technically progressing in the game that will carry on forever. So the game for us is technically already live. They're building everything, and then they're going to say, okay, here's the currency. We built the currency, and then we're building the rest of the game. So as different modules come out, you're still just given better and funner ways to progress within that same currency. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And would you say that, I know you touched on this a little bit, but UE5 is a game changer compared to Star Citizen. They built their own engine, right?
Yeah, so they started with CryEngine, and then it's like Lumberyard, but they like forked it and create all this other technology that now it's not really recognizable as CryEngine. It's all these tools that are added onto it. And with UE5, we're trying to stay vanilla UE5 as long as possible, so we don't get to that point where we have to, we create our own engine essentially.
Yeah.
What makes UE5 also much more accessible is like technical artists can almost work as coders in a way for prototyping things out. There's like the blueprinting system, so we can test the gameplay like much faster, and then eventually, it turns into C++. But the entire ethos of Epic Games is to build tools and make them as accessible as possible, so the creatives hop in and build the game. Because that's who we need building the game, right?
It also literally allows technical artists to become kind of coders inside the game, inside the engine. So that's awesome, and allows us for a lot more progress and faster than creating your own engine.
And the amount of products too that Star Citizen is trying to deliver. For one, Squadron 42 is a big one that people are aware of. It's a whole other game than Star Citizen, but there is some similarities. I mean, the Quantum on their back end is similar to what we're doing in the economy, and then like there's some things I can't really talk about today, but it's a major divergence to where Star Citizen is building. I want to put together more materials and make it just really accessible to understand exactly the long-term roadmap for the public. But it's a completely different way of going about it. So
awesome. I will start moving faster because we have the chip as well, we have only 15 minutes left. I guess we can stay a little bit longer. But can you cover real quick, like, I know it's impossible to cover it real quick, but just touch base a little bit on how the process is of building something like the showroom, like why it can't be built in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's funny. I think about these comments. Like at first, when we first showed off showroom, it was like, hey, my nephew can build that in a weekend. And then like a few months we show progress and it's like, oh, a small team can build that in 2 weeks. It's like, okay, that's an upgrade. It's like one guy on a weekend to the small team in 2 weeks. So maybe eventually it'll be like a medium-sized team with a month or something.
Yeah.
But there's so much. I kind of wrote together a list since we're getting into home stretch with showroom. So I kind of wrote a whole list on what showroom resolved. And from a high level, it's teams alignment, like I already mentioned. There's a character content pipeline, the environment art pipeline, the vehicle pipeline, the VFX pipeline, the audio pipeline, tech design, UI UX pipeline, and then the product release pipeline. The teams alignment, that was a really important one. There are so many things that people don't see, like HR onboarding, weekly, like dailies, quarterly synchronizations, game design documentation, feedback reviews, project management, stakeholder role setting, stakeholder direction setting, chain of command setting, like objectives, key results, tasks, task standardization, reporting standards, performance measurements, Perforce setup, Perforce streams, Perforce hosting, automated builds, access to everything like Discord, Notion, cloud drives, ClickUp, Milano, Miraboard, Whimsical, Figma, Zoom, like just all these things that we all work in, and we have to make sure that we grease all these and make a well-oiled machine so we all work the same way. We know where to find information. We have a source of truth for everything. How topics are threaded, channels, and how they're set up in our team server. We have everybody's contact information linked to every single task, and every single task linked to a project, and every project linked to product lines, and product lines lead to bigger overall project proposals, and that all that information having to be updated all the time. Like, and this is with not just Verisoft, it's 5 other codev studios and art houses that all need to work one, and that's just for normal corporate processes. And then it becomes a whole different beast when you're talking about remote work. I don't have to get into that, but then now you got everyone working together, and now you have these development pipelines that need to be put in place. That the game direction, so my game direction can proliferate throughout the teams, and all the department directors can give their leads stuff to do, and then all the builders can build it, and it's all online visioned. So that's just the reason for showroom on a processy side. And then I told you, like the character content, like building the characters, working in DCC tools like rigging, animation, getting those animations in a blueprint, like making sure there's standards, and like sitting in chairs, pilot seats, doorways, hallways, beds, importing that into the engine and engine character setup, master material libraries, instance materials for skins, data tables for skins. These are all things that have actually been built in showroom. Building swappable outfits, standardizing the noon models of all the different species and different sizes, different body types and archetypes, swappable heads, even character outfits that show progression. So we have different like stages as you get better and cooler things. We had this locomotion system we started with ALS. We found out that it was like not optimal for what we needed. So then we were moving to the new Lyra system with the UE5 release. That was another thing, like Unreal Engine, like Epic Games, they told us not even to release anything until April 5th when UE5 actually came out. They said nobody release product production quality stuff until we say it's good, and now it's good. So now we're getting into release mode. And then there's the Unreal pipeline, like this Nanite and Lumen stuff. This is new for everyone in the industry, like how to build Nanite stuff and how it works with Lumen. What are the constraints there? How do we set up our lights? How do we standardize these set pieces, and working with our DCC tools to make sure everything is like properly being lit and the global illumination's working right. The reflections are working right. Something we learned about like vehicles, like we have to build them, like certain portions of them to be watertight, and that way to get the proper reflections and the light that comes through the windows. Like we may have to build it more in a realistic, almost like you're building an actual ship in real life in some instances. Yeah, and then it's first person and third person, so everything has to look good in the environment from both angles. There's all those metrics I was talking about; those have to be standardized. Like even the height of a railing needs to be standardized. The doors and the width of hallways need to be make sure that they can accommodate for multiplayer, like MMO eventually at some point, right? There's all sorts of things that you do in the environment with like wear maps, grunge maps, decals, edgeware, and then building that master material library for architectural things. Like, man, I'm only like halfway through like all the things. Not even halfway.
Yeah, man. I feel like we can spend like a whole town hall on each pipeline that you're mentioning, right? Like,
Yeah, actually, it's man. I'm like through the character content pipeline. I'm only like 10 points in the environment. There's 32. I don't even know if I should carry on like at this pace. It's kind of like,
yeah, I mean, we can. We can cut it here so we can get you on. I have an excuse to invite you on the next town hall. I will
yeah.
leave this as an excuse for me.
Well, I mean, once
So
it comes out, then everyone's going to see everything that's been done. But
yeah,
it's
but
just this is AAA development. The point is, this is like every single pixel, polygon, and particle needs to go through a full look dev from concept to final product to make sure everything is like the best standard. And that's
yeah,
the point of showroom, is to get everyone producing excellence,
eh,
including the UI, including QA and like how to distribute this, even having the menus in the background that nobody cares about or thinks about, like quality settings and audio settings, and like saving your location when you get to a certain spot, and like making sure your ships are there when you come back, having the wallet connection, and loading in your NFTs, loading in your ships, and placing them actually as digital property into an environment that's never been done in Unreal, by the way. And there's so much tech design too, like how the player is interacting with all these things. These are standards. You build an elevator, you don't just build it because of this one small elevator. You build it for every single elevator that will be in every single ship and every single building in the
exactly.
entire universe. Teleporting, ship pad standards, all these data tables for all these different things. Yeah, photo mode. We've got so much stuff.
Yeah, but you're on fire, Danny. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
This is I don't like to talk so much. I like to do action. So I've been
Yes,
off
sir.
the town halls. I've been building. These are all the things. I've had oversight of every single one of these points, and this is over. It looks like over 300 points.
Yeah. Yeah, let's leave all this here, mainly because I want to invite you to the next one, and I'm sure the community will love to have like just a town hall on how everything works. And so we'll do it in the future. But I have some questions, like just an easy one after that. Like, are we going to have any Easter eggs in the showroom?
Yes, but
Awesome.
I don't want to spoil Easter, so
No, for sure. People will discover it once they are playing the showroom. So
yeah.
we'll just leave it at that. And before we move on, based on the previous answer, like guys, you will be able to experience all all what Danny is saying in the showroom, all the quality, the AAA, everything. Once you will be able to experience this yourselves. So we'll just leave it there and just let you experience the showroom. And one last question for you, Danny, and I will let you go, and we will move with Chip. Uh, we know that this release that is coming soon for the showroom isn't the complete one. It's not the complete showroom, and it will have updates. So, what addition and changes can people expect from the first release to the full release?
Sure. Yeah. No. The first release is kind of, we're calling it the showroom demo. It's not like Star Atlas, right? There's already being a restructure of how the level is laid out, because we've added flight. Flight is ready like sooner than I thought, with an actual flight game mode. And because of that, you fly out and you can kind of see more of the level than we originally had planned for. And so there's actually a really cool restructuring of it. So the first one's going to have what everyone's seen in the videos. But then come like October, maybe, is when we'll have a whole rework of that, be able to, like, at least with the Pierce X4, to summon it in and fly it around and shoot at stuff.
That's awesome.
Yo, can I jump in
That's
real quick? I see the excitement out there in the community, and I absolutely love it. This is the one time I actually want to tone down the hype, Danny. Just to clarify, flight is ready, but obviously we need to go through and rig every ship, animate every ship, add the VFX on there. So it's like,
no, sorry. So just for the Pierce X4, that's the only thing I can promise right now. We have other things that we're working on to make more of them work, but the only thing I can promise is the Pierce X4, and a mode to be able to play with, and multiplayer. So multiplayer should be ready for October release or whatever that's ready, and it's what we're calling R2. So R1 and then R2, and we'll have multiplayer and quite a number of social features with multiplayer, and hopefully the ability to also see each other flying around and walking around. So I'm pretty excited.
man,
Awesome.
I just became the most hated man in Star Atlas.
I see the comments, man. They literally called you. You're a thief of joy, man. You're a thief of joy.
Realistic expectations. I just, we don't want to overpromise here, but awesome stuff, Danny. Absolutely love it, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Awesome. So we went a little bit over schedule, but I just checked with Chip, and I hope everything's okay for everyone. But we can extend a little bit. So Danny, I'll let you go. I know you have probably meetings already. So thank you very much for joining, man.
Right on. Thanks, everybody. See y'all.
Thanks, Danny.
See you, Danny. Thank you so much. So Chip, though, are you ready, my friend?
Yeah, I am. That was such a treat having Danny on here. It's been a while, but I
Yeah.
always get hyped when I hear him talk about all the work that we've been doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's awesome. He came with the alpha, man. He came with the alpha. That's the reality. So yeah, man. Like let's go straight to business. We can go over a few minutes here, but I want to touch. Of course, Chip, you're here. Everybody knows we're going to speak about Scream. We're going to speak about Scream. So can you briefly explain what Scream is for newbies? Just briefly.
Yeah. So right now we have Action Fleet, aka Score, which is an on-chain mini game that we released last year, and Scream is intended to be the sequel to that, where now we push the envelope on what can on-chain gaming do. So this will be the first time factions will actually be able to work together as a team. They will be building out their security zones using your faction's resources, your ships, building out the security zones, and then going out into the medium risk zones and engaging in mining, crafting, PvE, PvP, territorial conquest, attacking, defending. So we think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think everyone's going to enjoy working together as a faction. So excited to see how that plays out.
Awesome. Yeah. So there's something about Scream. Like Scream is the code name, right? It's not the name of the game.
That's correct. Yeah. So Scream is our internal name. Technically, it's an acronym that changed a few times. A lot of the OGs will remember it changed quite a few times. Stands for Ship Combat, Resource Extraction, and Manufacturing. So obviously, Ship Combat, you'll be able to use your ships to fight other players and other PvE players and environment enemies. And then Resource Extraction, you'll be able to mine resources from planets, and then manufacturing. You're able to turn those resources into manufactured goods, or those being R4. So an interesting segue is that currently we Automata, we provide the R4 to the community to fuel their fleets. In Scream, we will no longer be providing R4. Players will be mining the resources themselves and manufacturing them at star bases. So this will be the next level of a real world economy in a game setting.
Awesome. So you touch a little bit on star bases. Can you cover how they will work? How star bases will work?
Yes. So the map itself that players will be operating within will be a collection of star systems, right? And in order for a faction to occupy and own a star system, they need to build a star base. That star base is a mega structure that will be essentially the logistical nexus of that star system. You will dock your ships there. You will be able to deposit your mined resources at the star bases. You will use the resources at the star base to craft. But also you'll have to defend those star bases from other attackers, including the other factions trying to destroy yours so that they can build their own star base. But assuming you defend it, you as a faction will not only craft R4, but you'll be crafting starbase upgrade materials. So you'll be crafting things that your starbase needs in order to rank up or level up in tier. And as the starbases tier up, you get access to more planets in that star system to mine. So, it'll be heavily incentivized for factions to build up their star bases, not only to get access to other planets to mine, but also as you build and upgrade star bases around the map, you will be able to move your fleets around the map much more efficiently and faster. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see how the territorial ownership across the map will ebb and flow as star bases get built, upgraded, destroyed, rebuilt. It'll be exciting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, man. We are super excited. There's no doubt about that, man. So we also have a little video update on Scream. What do you think, Chip? Should we post it right now?
Yeah, man, go
Before
for
I
it.
before I ask you a question. So I will post it on announcements. Everybody go to announcements. There's a little update there in announcements. It just went out. So you can actually check that in the announcements channel. I can drop it as well on Townhall here, but we wanted to leave on announcements. Just posted it. It's a video update on WebGL and Scream development. And I don't know, Chip. I think it looks awesome. Do you want to give any shout outs to the Scream team now?
Yeah,
I know the
I
guys are
mean,
working hard, man.
yeah, we have some all stars working on the Scream team. I mean, across entire Star Atlas, but we have the Scream team is working super hard. What we just released in announcement is a view of not only the WebGL assets. So we have fully built out models of all those ships in UE5, but we had to turn those into WebGL assets, which are more low poly and web optimized assets. So we have an outsourced team that's been working on building those assets. We have them now in Play Canvas, and then this is our current user interface showing the hangar. So for you to get your ships into Scream, you're going to have to build out and expand your hangar space to support those ships, and that's what we're able to show today. The work in progress hangar module with some of our WebGL ship models.
Cool, man. This is awesome. I have one last
Yeah.
question. You touch a little bit on resources and that you will need to mine them and craft the R4 by themselves and then sell to other players. So you won't be able to buy from Stratus anymore. But
No.
can you give us a little bit of alpha on how this crafting will work? How can you craft at the starbase? Can you craft at the starbase actually?
Yes. So yeah, you have to mine the resources or purchase resources from other players that have mined them themselves. However, once you get those resources to a starbase, then what you have to do is you have to ensure that you have one of your ships docked at the starbase, and players know that on the marketplace, ships have their loadouts, their components, their modules, manufacturer size, role, but you also see that they have a list of crew members. In Scream, that list of crew members is the count of crew members in your ship is what you use to craft. So if you have 10 crew members, because you have 10 single crew members ships docked at the starbase, then you will be able to craft with those 10 crew members. And if you have 5, you'll craft half as fast. So crew that are baked into the ships in the initial Scream release will be instrumental in being able to craft things at scale. So it's going to be interesting how having ships not only opens up the gameplay for mining and combat, but also players who really want to engage in crafting you're going to get a lot of a lot of utility out of the ships you have because they have crew on board. So I think that's one thing that we haven't talked about yet, but that's in the Scream design, and I was excited to share that with the community.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So I think we covered almost everything. We are a little bit late in time, so just I think it was an action-packed town hall,
Let's
like
take
for
one.
real.
Let's take one question. I see 2 hands up. Let's take one question, Santi.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, unfortunately, Danny did have to take off, but yeah, let's grab one question and we'll close
Yeah.
this out. And
I just removed the request, so if someone has any questions, raise your hand now. We'll take one question, and yeah, just I see RS developer. I invited you to stage. Hello, RS.
Hi, Santi. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. And you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Very good.
Cool.
I had just one question from Michael. I'm gonna get to it fast. Since the start of Polis DAO, several days ago, we saw that Automata started its own staking, and 8.5 million Polis were staked. Now I wanted to ask something because this creates some sort of majority for the automata, and it's okay. You said that you've announced that publicly, and this is actually good for the team to have this sort of dominance in the short term. But my question is, how much of this dominance are we gonna see in the future votes? You know, especially in short term. Is it gonna be a very common thing to see that automata, comes in to one of the propositions and really change the tide, or no, you have some specific the articles, some specific things that automata enters when these things are brought up, or you have some sort of red lines that you don't want to be crossed. I just wanted to know that.
sure. No, great question. Really questions. There's a couple of things to unpack there. So, just first and foremost, starting with the quantity of total supply that Automata owns being allocated to the DAO. Just to clarify, again, I did say this during the intro, but our communication, our messaging has always been that, and this is specified in the economic paper as well. We do have access to 100% of the team supply, which is capable to be locked in the DAO. And so that's up to 108 million tokens, in addition to any of the mission rewards that we receive as a team. Now, the decision that we've made in favor of the community, and also as a result of us being able to collect information and have real-time data on what actual participation looks like, was to not elect to lock the entire 108 million, but rather start with 8.5. Now, the subsequent messaging to that is that we have an intended target weight in the pool. And so to the extent that more individuals lock tokens into the pool, in order for us to maintain that weight, we also must increase our locked balance. Now, the target amount that we have referenced is 65%. We started on day one. Well, before any of the Polis emissions went live, we were at about 59%. By the time the first lock period was snapshotted, we were down to about 57%. That's floated down to about 55, and then the team has been bringing that up slowly. So we're still actually sitting under 60% of total PVP, the Polis voting power. So we have the ability to go up to as high as 65% in the short term. That's our target. And the rationale for this, which again, I do feel we've communicated exhaustively, but the rationale is that we have a very long roadmap ahead of us. It is very important. It is critical for our long-term success, we believe. that we do not become diluted and lose the majority share of the voting right in the short term, which could unduly influence the outcome of the game. We want to be able to build the vision, and we have a lot to do. And I think we've demonstrated to the community our commitment to this, our efforts in this, the energy that we commit, the time and the talent that is working on this. And so we want to kind of stay within those parameters of between 60 to 65%. And we are giving a little bit of flexibility for it to go slightly below that, which again is to the benefit of the community. Now, since day one, we started with 8.5. We are now up to 11 million total, and again, we're at something like 57 or 58% of total Polis voting power. Where we draw the line to get to your second question is our intentions, though. Although we have majority control of the DAO in for the short term, which we do intend to retain, by the way, for several years. We want to get to a solid state of development and product release before this external influence can redirect our objectives. Is we would prefer to abstain from the majority of proposals when that system comes online. So the next feature to come to the DAO platform beyond Polis locking will be Atlas locking, and then subsequent versions will include the discourse channel or forum for communication, conversation about proposals, the introduction of the proposal system, the voting system, and maybe just kind of tangential to all of that, which we've also referenced, is the idea of the Paths to Decentralization document that we'll be rolling out in our in-house GC, Dan Park. Many of you have interacted with. He's been working extensively on that document. We will release that. So you have our full philosophy on getting to a fully decentralized state. We're also looking at the introduction of a Star Atlas Constitution, for which community will be welcome and encouraged to participate in the construction of that, as well as a Star Atlas Council, which serves as a bit of an electorate over this entire ecosystem as well. And guild leaders, DAC leaders will be looking to you to hopefully take those positions of authority and leadership across the DAO. All of this is, I want to say, partially short term. Some of it is intended to be long term, and a lot of it is still very conceptual in nature. So as we all know, this is all very experimental stuff, and what we're proposing is pretty radical. So we just want to make sure we get to the goal line here, all in one piece, and that we do succeed in the vision that we've outlined. So with all of that said, with respect to proposals that get introduced, to the extent that we do not perceive them to be damaging to the ecosystem or the growth of this project, we intend to abstain from those. And so there will be some liberty that the community can take in what they introduce and what they want to see. And this could be pretty broad in scope, or it could be as simple as maybe a feature request or even data requests for new information to be delivered on the DAO or on the marketplace, or could be things like changes to underlying fee structures, by the way. Like maybe people want to see the marketplace fee structure change. Things like this are all discussions that can be had. We need to have logical discourse and conversation about that and what the implications are, and then those can go through the process of getting introduced as a proposal and voted upon. So to the extent that they are not damaging to the ecosystem, we as an entity would like to abstain from that. However, that majority share does secure our position to ensure that something that is that we cannot be overruled for something that would be damaging. Hopefully that all makes sense.
Yeah. Great answer. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Well, yeah, really appreciate the question. Chip, fantastic job, man. You guys have been absolutely crushing on the Scream team, I have to say, moving far faster than I would have anticipated. So fantastic job to you and to Mo and just really the whole team there that's working on Scream, which is pretty extensive. And Santi, as always, man, great job co-hosting with me up here.
Yeah, we're co-hosts now, man. You're not the guest anymore. You are the Star Atlas Townhall, man. So you're a co-host.
I feel like it's a promotion.
You're promoted live, man. Promoted live. Never seen before. So I think we're in a good moment to close. Just a few reminders. Remember, guys, if you're interested in the PC or in the case, you can also buy just the case from the Star Atlas branded I Buy Power merch. I just posted it on announcements. Just go to announcements, make sure to register your interest. That's very important if you want the PC or the case. You can choose whatever you want. So also another thing, let me find the link real quick, but we are moving right now when we close, we are moving to the Twitter spaces for the after party. We have our awesome Ash hosting there. So I will post a link real quick in the Townhall chat. Can you hear me, Michael?
I can hear you. Oh, we lost him. Wouldn't be the same without Santi signing us off, so we'll give him a minute just to get back.
I was gonna step in and just ask you to take a drink of water. I could try to be
Yeah.
Santi, but I guess he's back.
Yeah.
Santi, if it ever doesn't work out with you as the co-host, man, Chip's already got your position
go,
filled, man.
Chip.
He knows.
Yeah. You just gotta remind Michael to not die while he speaks. That's your job, you know. That's it.
Right on. That's great.
Yeah. So I got Discord restarted. I don't know why it's happening a lot lately, but it's happening to me a lot. So I just posted the link in the town hall chat. We will move there. So this was a super action packed town hall. Thank you, Chip, and thank you, Danny, as well. We'll move now to the Twitter Spaces. Before one last question, when showroom, Michael? When?
4 to 6, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. So right now we'll move to the Twitter Spaces after party. I just posted the link. Remember as well in announcement, it's the link to the iPad Power page. Make sure to go and register your interest if you're interested in buying the PC or just the case. Very important to do it. And well, let's go to the Twitter Spaces. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Danny. And power to the people.
Take it to the man.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.